All right, go ahead.
All right. So hello guys. So today I'm gonna be talking a little bit about threads, runnable, and executor on Java. And a thread. Um, to understand what is a thread, we need to understand that in concurrent programming, there are two basic units of execution: processes and threads. In the Java programming language, concurrent programming is mostly concerned with threads. However, processes are also important. And threads are also sometimes called lightweight processes, um, but both processes and threads provide an execution environment, but creating a new thread requires fewer resources than creating a new process. Um, we also need to understand that threads exist within a process, and every process has at least one thread. Threads share the process's resources, including memory and open files. This makes more for efficient but potentially problematic communication within the threads. Um, Something that is they use a lot with threads in multi-thread execution is an essential feature of the Java platform, and every application has at least one thread or several. If you count system threads that do things like memory management and signal handling. But from the application programmer's point of view, you start with just one thread called the main thread. A thread has the ability to create additional threads. And there are two ways of creating threads. One is declare a class to be a subclass of a thread. Uh, an instance of the subclass can be then allocated and started. And the other way to create a thread is by declaring a class that implements the runnable interface. Um, an instance of a class that can be allocated passed as an argument when creating a thread and started. So this is an example of how to create a basic thread. And here we have like the public class hello thread. In order to create this thread, you need to add the extends, and you run it with the command run. Um, the threaded class itself implements runnable through its run method does nothing. An application can subclass thread, providing its own implementation of run. So in this case, basically you don't need the runnable to run the thread because it runs on its own. Now I'm gonna before I give an explanation about or an example of runnable, I'm gonna explain a little bit what is a runnable. Um, this interface is designed to provide a common protocol for objects that wish to execute code while they're active. For example, runnable is implemented by a class thread. Being active simply means that a thread has been started and has not yet stopped. And the class must be define a method of no arguments called run. And that's what I was just explaining a few seconds ago. And the interface of runnable separates the runnable task from the thread object that executes the task. And this is a more flexible approach to creating a thread. And also you can use it in a more higher level of management threads uh, because of the flexibility it has. And this is an example of how to use the runnable interface. So in order to use it, you need to implement the runnable, and the runnable interface defines a single method, which is run, meant to contain the code executed in the thread. And the runnable object is passed to the thread constructor. Um, Now with executor, uh, and basically an executor is an object that encapsulates a lot of threads, and it makes a separation from the application. So in this case, you can have a lot of threads managed by this executor. And an executors, there's three types of executors interfaces. The simple one is executor. Then we have executor service and a scheduled executor service. And the first one, the executor, is just a simple interface that supports launching new tasks. Um, in the case of the executor service, it's a sub-interface of executor which adds features that help manage the life cycle both of the individual task and of the executor itself. And the scheduled executor service is a sub-interface of executor service supports feature and a periodic execution task. And the executor implementations in Java Utility Concurrent are designed to make full use of the more advanced executor service and scheduled executor service interfaces, although they also work with the base executor interface. And with the first one, with the executor interface, we can use just a single method to execute and decide to remove the manual creation of threads to execute a command. And for example, here, I have a simple line of code that use a runnable when we create a thread, and that part of the code can be changed using an executor just to make it more usable, the code, and simple to handle for the processor. Another important thing when we use executor, we need to shut down or use the shutdown command, especially when we use the executor service and the scheduled executor service, because otherwise it will keep running in the back of your computer in the memory and it won't stop.
Oh, that's funny.
So, but basically that's my presentation. I also have the reference of the sites that I use to get this information. I don't know if you guys have any questions.
No, so that's really cool. So the executor, then you could just keep passing in different threads. I mean, you don't
Yeah.
have to specify an executor. So yeah, that's really cool. And I've never seen that. That's pretty
So
cool.
yeah, basically instead of like creating a lot of threads, one after another, you just can use the executor, and that helps with the creation of new threads.
Yeah, that would make it a lot cleaner. That's
But
pretty
at the
cool.
same time, threads are and the executor are not reusable, just a one-time thing.
Hmm. Okay. Wait. Oh, so I would need to make a new executor for the next thread after I execute a thread.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's
Gotcha.
just a yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Any
All
other
right.
questions, guys?
Oh, so from practical point of view, the executors are used to, or I mean, threads are used to have multiple lines of code executed at the same time by the computer.
Yeah. Right. Anything that can be done that doesn't need to be in sequence. It can be async.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It can save a ton of time.
So it kind of makes our program work faster.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Okay, okay. Just to remember this.
No, no. That's a good question.
yeah. Also, another thing important is like with threads, the computer basically, even that it has certain threads have priority when it is which one is executed first, but that order is not always obeyed by by the system. So it can uh, one, for example, if you have like three different threads, number three can be executed before one and two, and with executor helps with that uh, to help with that order as well.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
Mhm.
All right. Well, no, thanks, Christian. That was awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you mind posting those slides on?
Yeah. I'm gonna post it probably in iLearn.
Oh, okay.
I'll post it there, and I can. Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah. So I'm going to switch over here. That was awesome, Christian. So
Yep.
I'm going to do or be doing system testing. Now, I apologize, and I owe you guys an answer. I've pinged the professor or the instructor on what the deliverable is for this, because I don't know what he wants us to turn in for this subject. I'm going to go over what each of them are and just kind of an idea. This Wikipedia article is really awesome, and a new feature on. I know this is kind of off topic, but you can actually hover over these. I didn't realize this, and it'll tell you everything. But so last week we went over JUnit testing, which is oftentimes for running tests, really small tests, right? I mean, you can run thousands of unit tests and it takes seconds. Where system testing is actually where your JUnit is testing the individual parts. System testing is oftentimes kind of the bigger picture stuff and the more holistic testing. So I mean, it starts at the top with graphical user interface testing, where you just have tests that are obviously testing the GUI. Things that I've never done were usability testing, which is actually you sit a user in front of your software and you allow them to test it, and you get feedback from the user. So that's kind of cool. Software performance testing, so you can get there's actually tools in Chrome that are really cool you can use that will allow you to see the call time. Maybe you're making API calls and some are taking a minute. Well, I don't know if you know, but a browser can only it's limited to the amount of API calls it makes. And it's like 5 or something like that. I can't remember the exact number, but let's say it's 5. Once all 5 of those are called out, it waits until it gets another response to send out another one. Well, if you have one call that's taking a minute, another one that's taking 30 seconds, another one that's taking 45 seconds, well, now that's plugging up those 3 lanes. So they have software that will do performance testing for that. There's also some that sometimes your methods will take a really long time. Let's say they need to iterate through stuff, and for some reason you're passing it a million things to iterate, and you haven't really optimized your sort, or you haven't optimized your search. So it's going through each one of those individually and testing it, and it's taking a long time. There are tools out there that will tell you what's the culprit, what's the biggest culprit for time. There's compatibility testing. So this is where you are looking at your software. Well, everybody's got their favorite browser, right? But heaven forbids one of your users uses, IE11 or Edge or, Opera or something you've never tested it on. Well, that's what compatibility testing does. Compatibility testing allows you to, it runs on various software, does it run on a Mac? Does it run on, an Android phone versus an iPhone? That's what compatibility testing does. You also have exception handling, which actually includes its own language, which is really cool. I've never used it, but it can actually throw just random things at your code, and then it just sees how it responds. Does it catch all the exceptions, or does your software just come crashing down, which is really cool. These load testing, volume testing, and stress testing, I get confused all the time, but they're actually really fun to do. So load testing, I have it up here, is you're actually going to put a huge demand on your system. And then just see what happens. So this is, I've often seen it done where we had actually hardware that we would assign it to run these scripts, and these scripts would pretend to be a user. So they would log into your system, they would, click some links, pull up things that a normal user would do, and then log out. Well, it's going to simulate that. You can set it to ramp up to however many users you want, and then it will sustain that many users constantly bombarding your servers for a certain amount of time, and then do a cooldown. And just to see how, see how your software is responding, or even a hardware. So but it's very similar to volume testing. Volume testing is how many things or how many connections or how many users can it support before it just comes crashing down. So this one's more of load testing is more of a sustained over a long period of time. You can do a ton of people, but it doesn't always have to be. Where volume testing is just how many can we do until it breaks. So it's, so these are kind of fun tests to do actually. And then stress testing is very similar as that too. This bombards the server with maybe API calls just to see how the server handles it. What systems start to shut down first. You go to the extreme so you know where to shore up and where to improve your system. So they're all very similar, and I might have even said crossed them even there in some of the explanations, but that's what those three are. Like I said, they're pretty fun. Security testing, that's going to be your basic, even if it's just a basic cross-site scripting, or can I steal a cookie from your API call? Are you encrypting things? Are you, that's where security testing. It's usually done by in an enterprise environment. They have a team that will actually do that, and they specialize in that, and they have special tools for that. Scalability testing. So this is you make a homegrown app, or you do something, and sure, it works on your computer, and you have your couple of your friends use it. It's pretty cool. You push it out on the internet, and suddenly 5,000 users jump onto your web page, and it comes crashing down. So scalability is just to make sure that it can handle not only small amount, but can it ramp up really quickly? And if so, how many people can it support? Sanity testing and smoke testing. Sanity testing is just, let's say it's what will stop this from being pushed out into the world. So let's say I've made some changes, and we want to make sure before we push it into production, does it perform all the needed things? So like an Amazon, can you buy something? Can you search for an item? Can you, I guarantee you, they have a list of tests that they run on every build, and it's just a really quick sanity test. And some people call it a happy path of just, can you do the things that you want them to do on your website? Smoke testing is just a really quick kind of pass over. Once something is out there, you do a really quick smoke test just to make sure it's up and running. And then you have exploratory. This is, if you're a QA guy, this is where you get a lot of fun. You just can kind of just go out and do it. Sometimes it's undocumented, but it's just what can you do? What kind of, you're not really bounded by a script or anything, because that would be covered more by the sanity, smoke, or regression testing. So exploratory testing is, just go try to break it. What would you do if you were a malicious person? What would you do? If you were a curious person, where would you click on the screen? And just make sure to see if anything weird happens. Ad hoc testing is very similar to that as well. It's but I've never actually done it. But it's just kind of just on the spur of the moment, I guess. Just do it and see if anything breaks. Very similar to exploratory, but I think exploratory requires you can actually record exploratory testing with recording tools. Ad hoc, I believe, is just straight out. Just do whatever. Regression testing is a set of tests that is a subset of your total tests you've ever run, but it's the ones that whenever a build comes out, you just run these tests. They're usually larger than a sanity test. Regression will cover not only the things that sanity will cover, but a little bit more even. So these are things like they'll test does the footer show up? Do all the links work on the page? Do all the, if I needed to change my password, could I do that? This is just it just covers everything from that you want to test every time. So, and they're repeatable tests. Installation testing is them just testing to make sure that, sorry, I'm just reading it here because I don't remember, I'm blanking on this one. Okay, so so this is them actually installing it on the machine. So a fresh install of your software, will it work? If you need to patch it, will it work after the patch? Things like that, to where it actually is doing that. I'm going to skip maintenance testing. Recovering testing is if it does crash, what's the process to get it back up and running? And then accessibility. Accessibility is you can read about it in all these three things, but if you were to have a disability, such as say as bad eyesight, or even things like you have a screen reader that because you either can't read, or maybe you're even blind, or it will actually, you need to make sure that your pictures have descriptive text on them, and then in the actual code there will actually be tags and things you can fill out to add accessibility. You try to avoid things that are color coded for color blindness, and it's kind of a UI check to make sure that everything in your system is usable by those even with disabilities. So yeah, that's it. Any questions? Like I said, as soon as I get back or hear back from him, I will either post his response or get back to everybody and to let them know what the deliverable is on this, because he obviously doesn't want us to do all these things. That's impossible, but I will let you know. But yeah, any questions?
From the previous week, sorry. From the previous week, what were the deliverables?
For the JUnit? That one actually, if you go onto the class website, hang on. So here, go to here. If you go into week 2, this is what I've been using. Is he's got these videos, these coding topic videos, and JUnit. This video right here will pop up, and it actually goes and covers the subjects that you need here, and it's. He wants a program that covers these 9 things. I think it's 9 when I counted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So you need to use all 9 of these asserts in your software, however you want to do that.
So how do you do that? Do you just come up with some kind of a program that have this thing? So you look up on the internet and try to.
Yes, yeah, we posted the video from last week if you want to watch it. I included a couple links to. It's actually one of them is that link right there. Actually, just noticed, but there's a tutorial that you can go through, and it'll actually help you if you do it in NetBeans or in Eclipse. It's actually really easy to start it, and then when you're starting a new project, you include JUnit, and then you can just start writing the tests and inserting these methods. And so those are used. JUnit's used more for testing like your internal, like a method. So I have like in mine, I did a triangle method where I would pass in 2 sides and it would return a third and tell me the missing side, right? So I could pass in 2, I could pass in a 3 and a 4, and the length of the third one should come back as 5. So I can run my method with 3 and 4 as parameters, capture what's coming out of it, and then compare it to 5 because it should be 5. And then I can assert that that's true. Assert true, answer is 5. And
so it can be like an easy program like that, but we implement
for the basic thing that when we turn in, for the basic level. When we start writing more advanced things, we start integrating it with other things. That's when we need it'll get a little bit more complicated. But no, I mean, that's pretty much the basics of JUnit is right there. That's the core guts of, like, most testing is done on that level. So yeah, like I said, that's the small system. And that's a pretty, that program I understand is a deliverable. I don't know what he wants us to deliver with this. So, but good question though.
Yeah, thank you.
Does anybody else have any?
No, I don't have any questions.
No, actually, I met.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
I met with Brother Tuckett last night because I was still kind of confused as to what those familiarity assignment was all about, and so he went over it a little bit for me again.
Oh yeah, what did he say?
But well, he just pretty much, I wasn't clear on the fact that we need to just put work on them by yourself, the familiarity aspect of it. You wanted the 14, is it 14 or 12 topics that we have to go through? We can do 1 or 2 of those a week, and then after we work on them, we research them, we put a sample code of it in our repository, individual repository. And he also suggested that we could also have a group repository if we want to, share resources and stuff like that. But yeah, and then he said we just need to fill out the Word document that he put a link to.
Okay, yeah.
Pretty much, then he gave us feedback on it.
Okay.
So that's what I understand from. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he also suggests that we meet with him again as a group sometime soon.
Okay.
Yeah, also, I wanted to add something else about my presentation, because I mentioned there is 3 type of executor. Am I saying it right?
Yeah, the executors.
Executors, yep. So I asked him which one he wanted me to focus on, because I've seen one of this very popular is the executor service.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked him which one should I pick, or should I give a presentation? Example of the 3 of them. He hasn't answered me yet, because he said, well, he answered me, but he said he's gonna look more into it. But as soon as I know an answer, I'm gonna give you guys probably text you.
Okay.
Just let you guys know when you guys start working on yours, so you guys can have an idea.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've looked back at the document. I just started to research the topic. I've looked at the outline for the Word document, how we submit it to him. But I'm gonna look into that tonight.
Yeah, I think he includes it in the request of familiarity assessment here.
Yeah.
Yeah, these documents right here, like the familiarity review example, and then there's the professional behavior assignment that he wants submitted.
He said we don't have to worry about that one until week 8.
Oh, nice. Oh, dang it! I turned one in. I should. Where were you last night?
It's okay. It's okay.
For which one, Rudy?
I was meeting with him, so I could tell you tonight.
He said we don't have to do the professional behavior assessment until 9 or week 8. I'm sorry, week 8. So nice. So yeah, we just have to do the
no. He said he'll let us know when we should.
Okay.
Around week 8 somewhere there.
Okay, that's perfect. So just don't do it until he says.
So it's just he said all we should worry about right now is just the familiarity review template. Just work on that, the familiarity reviews.
Okay.
Each
and
week.
Yeah, it's gonna say the link is in each week, but yeah, cool. Okay, no, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks, Randy.
Did you guys get graded for the group schedule?
What about it?
I didn't even know there was a for that.
Did you get graded for that? For the
Oh yes, we did. Yeah, did everybody turn it in?
Yeah. Well,
I turned it in. I think I got an A.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
just to have an idea, because I guess I just submitted my personal schedule, but I forgot to do this one. So I just submitted like a couple days ago. He was willing to accept.
Submitted. Where do you submit the personal one? Because I don't know where.
I just did it in the same group thing, because I remember he mentioned that if you wanted to submit your personal, which with the group schedule, you can do that. It just has I forgot to submit the group one.
And so if you wanted to, you could put it even in the same. You could just make it another tab and then just turn it in together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just mention in your notes like, hey.
Kevin, can you show it again? I have not submitted it, and I just want to look.
We had a link in the chat,
in
our chat here. Where was it? I think it's this document right here.
Yeah.
So in the group chat that we've been using, are you a member of this one? Yeah.
Yeah.
So just click on that and then download a copy.
And do I have to pick one topic which I will present at one of the group meetings?
That would be great. You probably want to pick one that's either who left. It was Raphael, right?
Yeah.
So you could
I'm
pick
not sure if
one
it's
of,
Raf.
No, who? I think somebody else said that it was planning to leave.
Oh, really? We're gonna have another one too.
Let me
It
see.
wasn't me for sure because I'm still here. As much as I'm struggling, I'm very much struggling in this classroom, to be honest with you guys. But
Yeah, it's a different. It's a
just
different environment. Yeah, it is. It's been challenging.
This
Yeah.
is the third
But I
time
must stick
I'm
around.
attempting.
Oh yeah, Samuel. Samuel said they was planning to.
Samuel. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not Raphael. Then Samuel. I'm sorry. Yeah. So
Hey,
I would
Samuel.
pick,
that's what I thought.
I would pick one of those
Hmm.
and just maybe he's week 4, which is next week. So if you wanted to get one knocked out of the way
Yeah,
there.
and I'm next week as well. So, how do is there a certain time frame we're given to present on, or we just come and share what we've learned?
Yep, that's
Because
it.
I'm
Yeah,
really
just-
not clear.
Yep. I did get a response from the teacher on what the deliverable is here. And he says, good question, Kevin. What I'm looking for is a set of 8 or more test cases. And these are manual test cases. So how to write manual test cases is you literally walk them through. And it says an application you're familiar with. So you could actually tell them or write a test case on Amazon on this is how I change my username. And so you would write a test case. You would say, open browser. You would put in www.amazon.com. Click on account link. Log in. You put username, password, and you would just walk step by step by step by step. It's easier if you're actually doing it, and then as you do something, write it down. And then as you do those test cases, he says you execute whether they pass, and then so once you write them, you obviously do them again. See if they test or pass or fail.
Because that's not what I'm getting from it. It's like last semester when we did 240. Is it 240? I don't remember what it is. Something like the prelim for this class.
Okay.
Where we had to do the exceptions and everything, and we add the test case, like you show the test, like if it fails, what you.
Oh yeah, okay. You're
remember.
talking about in the like the spreadsheet they gave you, like the grid, where they're like, this is what we did, this is what we expected. That's you could. It is a manual test though. That's what gives it away is these would be manual tests.
Yeah.
And so those ones were for writing a method, right? You wanted to write a method, you would put in this variable, you'd expect this, and then it would pass or fail, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, but I was more talking about the aspect where you would actually put the coding for it in
okay.
NetBeans.
And I guess you could, but as testing an application I'm familiar with, like I said, I don't know. Take that as you will, I guess, and do whatever you're going to do there. So, but that was his response. It's in the video now.
But you want to see code for it?
Some things don't require code. Some things don't require. Some of the topics, some of the URL or the diagrams, we're just going to turn in diagrams. That's all you're going to do.
Okay.
And so this is one of them that is.
Have you completed any of them completely yet for the familiarity?
No, I've turned in a familiarity assessment, but I haven't heard back from it yet. But
okay.
I was going to say, where was the list of what do you need to know? Oh, yeah,
Week 2.
right here. So, yeah, used case diagrams. That's no code. Use case. That's no code. State diagrams. That's not a code. Sequence diagrams. That's not a code. And so system level testing to me, it sounds like it's not a code either, but I said, I don't think he'll dock you on it as long as those are more unit level tests that are manual, where system level tests are actually done like I said, it's more of on a completed application rather than individual things.
Okay. Yeah, I was looking into it last night. I was doing when I was doing I was doing some study on Java collection. I'm not sure like how in depth I need to go into it and stuff, but I did learn some stuff like about it, that there's a list of collection interfaces. You have like list, set, map, and collection.
Yeah, and that's the video here. I think it mentions the 5 things that you want to do
for the
You want-
collection.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know, I have the same.
not every
question.
class, just the 5 basics. So it's
Yeah.
list, set, map, queue, and tree are the 5 you want to use.
And you know, I have the same.
And then you
question.
just
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I was saying, so then we just do code for one of each of those.
Hmm.
Sorry, and show it in our repository.
Yes, yeah.
Then we put that in the Word document as well.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
it's
what-
just some crazy stuff.
yeah, for what I understood with the meeting with them, it's just like basically that you understand on the basic level how to use those things, you know. And if he wants to get
Yeah.
more in detail, maybe he will give you the feedback in order for you to fix those things. Because I was struggling too. I
Yeah.
was panicking too. Like, well, how far do you want me to go? Because it's a lot of information.
Well, here's a dumb question. Do we actually meet with
Right.
him? Like, is it an actual meeting, or he just goes in and reviews it?
He just goes and review it, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, because this is my I've posted some stuff on here from my Java collections, and this is it. I go through a list, I go through a set, I go through a map, and if you were to run this, which I don't think he's going to, but he could, it would just system out print a bunch of stuff, and I'm just messing with all the queue stuff, and I'm actually setting up the queue in a different class, but so I pointed him to my helper classes for all of the collection stuff.
So, question: Did you test them yourself and they work?
Yeah, I'd test them in NetBeans, and they would print out everything I wanted them to print out.
Okay.
And so so that's what I'm turning in for Java collections.
Okay.
But I don't know. Take it with a grain of salt, because I've never taken the class before, and I've never. That's just. I'm curious to see what his feedback is, because then it will help in my future turn-ins. And that's the other thing too. He just said, just if you don't wait until the very end.
So what's your Word
turn
document
everything
look
in.
like?
So
So your Word document that you sent him looks like.
Yeah, the Fluency Review template request. This one, I think. So it just goes over, like, this is my file, this is where and I linked it so you can just follow it, and then what to look for.
Okay.
And I just did that. There's my code. There's that. There's that. And then I did JUnit. There's the video from last week that I included of me teaching it, and then that. So
Oh, cool.
Okay.
again, take it with a grain of salt, because
Okay. I thought you would like put some information that you personally learned from all your research, and then you do the codes and stuff, then you submit that to him.
Yeah, so the code is just in my repository, so I'll just say, go look at that, But
Yeah, which makes sense.
yeah. So.
It'd be fun to put all that code in those boxes.
Oh my gosh, that would be crazy. Here's my thesis on
That's a search student.
Java collection. All right, cool. Well, if that's it, any other questions? And this is good. So, any other comments or questions from everybody?
Well, if I have any questions or stuff, I'll just post it in the group. I mean, I don't post a lot because I see the post, and sometimes it takes me a while to get to it because I'm at work, and as I said, I'm doing car sales, so I'm usually kind of busy.
Yeah, and when you're in the middle of a sale, you gotta stay there, right? And you can't. It's hard to get off.
Yeah, and I can't really use my phone, and I pushed to get here tonight for the meeting and I work 21 minutes away from where I live, so I have to drive home after work. So I was off at 5, but we had this meeting, so I had to stay there up until like 6:30. Then I drove home, got here, and then set up for the meeting.
Gotcha.
Thanks again, guys. And
I
if
have a
anything, I'll
question, quick
message you guys during the week. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Victor. Yeah, sorry.
one. So for the next week, if I prepare the teaching, when do we meet for that?
It's going to be 8
On Friday?
o'clock, and I think it's Thursday. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody.
No,
Yeah, it's Thursday.
Can we switch
Uh,
Friday
8
or
a.m.?
Saturday?
8 a.m.
Friday,
no.
I work all night.
Oh, no, I'm
Fr-
sorry.
8
You're
PM,
right.
not 8 a.m.
Friday, it should be Friday next week. We didn't put that on there. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, so I
can we
was
do
thinking that
Saturday?
we could. Saturday would be better for me in that case because I work all day Friday from 8:30 to 8:30.
Okay. I'm okay with Saturday, too, if we need to do Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday.
Yes,
I'm gonna be
so
working on
we-
Thursday.
So Saturday,
No.
8 a.m.?
Yes, let's do 8. Is that okay with everybody? 8
No,
o'clock
and-
on Saturday?
No, 8 p.m. I can't do 8 a.m. I work every morning, so.
Well, no, 8 p.m. It'll be 8 p.m. on Saturday.
PM.
Saturday night at 8 p.m. Is that okay?
And that's 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, right?
Yeah, 8
Yes.
p.m. I just trying. I need to add 9 hours to that.
Oh, jeez.
It will be
Where do you live?
Is that Sunday morning? Yeah.
for 5 a.m. Well, 5 a.m. Sunday morning.
Oh, jeez.
Should be okay.
Victor, man, you're a trooper.
Man,
Wait, where
I will
do
try.
you live,
Well,
Victor?
if I live in Ukraine,
Oh man.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
it's all the way in the Eastern
Wow.
Oh,
Europe.
Yeah, very Eastern.
Mhm.
So if I don't, if I don't drop next week, I will try my best to prepare this.
Well, we appreciate it, Victor.
Yeah.
Well, I still haven't prepared mine yet, so we got some time.
Yeah, I'm pretty busy this semester, so I'm on most nights. If anybody needs to ping me, just let me know. I'm going to stop the broadcast, but that concludes our broadcast. But